Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. And in today's stream, I am gonna be just finishing up this animation, or at least trying to work on and do some of the in betweening. Today was a pretty, I want to say, slow day. Like, not much really happened. I've just been chilling and going at it as I go. Not really much. Right now, I'm working on this animation, and so there was another frame that I wanted to work on and do. Where was it? Well, not really this frame, but rather a frame segment that I was working on. Oh, hello, I got a new viewer. How are you today? How's it going? Right now, I'm trying to think about I how I'm going to smooth over this animation and make the transition better. Give me some time to think. So, how is everyone doing today? What's everyone up to? I'm just chatting right now. I'm working on this character. I want to. How do I say your name? Nyla? Nyla? Nyra? Is that how I say it? How are you today? I hope I said your name correctly. Right now, I am animating a character and I'm going into the rough phase. So, usually, animation is done in several different phases. There's a storyboarding slash planning phase where you're just putting down like the rough keyframes and getting a general idea and consensus on the character, what you're drawing, what you're going to be animating, so on and so forth. And then as you translate it over to whatever software you're using, or say you're doing the more classical, what's the proper word? Not classical, but the older forms of animation where you're drawing everything like with a storyboard, like an actual storyboard, or one of those easels with like hand painted, hand drawn animations. You would then rough out your motion to get a rough and general idea of what it is you're drawing, what it is you're doing. And then over time, you would go back over, add more detail, add more frames if you need it, until eventually you get over to the rough in betweening and smooth in betweening phase, then the coloring, then just the final composite. And compositing is something that I really love doing because it's fun taking a finished product and seeing, okay, how can I alter it, or how can I make it more refined and better looking? That's always the fun part for me. So, do you have any questions about the process or about the character I'm animating? Anything at all? Because I do like to chat and talk to people. Oh, I'm working on a fight animation. One of my characters, Ayo, he is a mage, and so he does a lot of flashy spells and energy blasts and things like that. He's actually one of the main characters for the show I'm working on. It's called The Seven Sages. Essentially, there was this apocalypse that occurred called the Cascade. It is set around our time, modern day, in the year 2000, where a event known as the Cascade caused magic to return to the world. And so there is a group of seven men and women who are seeking revenge because they were wronged in some way in this new era and in this new time. This particular animation is about the leader of the group, Ayo, and this is sort of just a rough animation test because this is a world where everyone has access to magic and everyone uses magic. I am testing my capabilities and skills in animated visual effects, especially when it comes to 2D animated effects. And I'm trying to sort of test myself as well as train myself on how I'm going to have different characters do different spells. Because one of the cruxes and one of the issues or concepts is that magic in this world is widespread. Okay, everyone can use magic, and you're not limited by what kind of magic you can use. So anyone can teleport, anyone can shoot a fireball, anyone can use telekinesis. Those there are general spells that everyone can use or has the capacity to use. So when it comes to animating this world and animating how different and separate people use their magic in different ways, I have to figure out a way in which different people can cast spells. So you have people who are arcanists. They use math and science, different equations and formula in order to cast their spells. Whereas you have people who are more emotional with their magic and they just use raw emotion. And there are pros and cons to each, and there are also general mindsets to each as well. Like men are more logical with their magic, whereas women are more emotional. So while men have more structured spells when it comes to women, their spells can be more potent. Um, but then there are also outliers. There may be some men who like to add emotion to their spells or more emotion to their spells, and then there are some women who have that potent magic, but then they further choose to refine it with their understandings of math and science and technology. Those are the two big dichotomies of magic, but then you also have internal and external magic. When the cascade occurred, which was this near apocalyptic event of like meteors falling to the ground and people going in bunkers and hiding in bunkers or underground, underwater cities, different things like that, the people who could not make it to a bunker or to some form of protection in time, they were brought into direct contact with the magic particle known as ethos, and I'll get into that either later in the stream or in a future stream. And it caused them to mutate, leading to various different fantasy races like beastmen, elves, orcs, half orcs, pretty much any fantasy race you can think of. Because that direct contact with magic was bringing out their sort of true nature, which led to various different animal races and various different fantasy races. This scene follows Ao as he is fighting a unknown assailant. And I do have plans on making a pilot. I've actually scripted out the pilot. I know how it's gonna go. The one issue I'm facing now is I just need to crowdfund and crowdsource and get a team together for the project proper. Oh, Seth, you're back. How have you been? I kind of forgot it was you who I was talking to. My favorite person. I'm just looking at the chat. I'm like, is this a new guy? And then I see your name, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's Seth. How have you been? Thank you. One of the things, going back into the project, one of the things is that Ao is sort of the leader, so his magic is definitely powerful. I mean, like in no ways is he the most powerful being in the world. Like there is still other people, and then even he has sort of drawbacks and weaknesses. That's one of the things I like about this show and about this project that I'm making is that one of the things I like is that this is not gonna be a show about who has the strongest magic, because anyone can use any spell, even if even if it's their first time seeing a spell, they could more than likely recreate it or recreate a spell with similar effects. So this is very much a show where it is a battle of ideologies. When two mages or two wizards fight, what determines the victor isn't who's stronger at magic, it's who can stream and cast their spells more effectively. Whose ideology and whose method of using magic is more advantageous or powerful. Yeah, you can definitely say that. They would have different ideological debates, some even insults. How they use magic is definitely something I want to highlight. Like, there are going to be specific colors for certain spells, or there's going to be a certain way or method. Some characters, it's going to be hand gestures. Other characters are going to be using magic circles. Some of them can just extend their hand and shoot fire. There's going to be usage of different alchemical components, like someone may brew potions or like get grass and say a piece of rock or a chunk of earth or like some berries or something. It really depends on the person and how they have a general makeup and idea of themselves, their world, and how they use the power that is within themselves and without. Because there is also a consensus and idea that even the very environment itself has magic inside of it. The idea that people can use. I have to, well, in order for me to explain this, I need to explain the biology. So, when magic returned to the world in the 2000s during the Cascade, there was essentially a shift in the world. It was like magic was always there. It's just the process or the cycle of magic was lying dormant, like how we have the water cycle or the carbon cycle, other different cycles like that. There was a magic cycle, but at some point in human history, it had paused or it had halted, which is what led to people having short lifespans, health issues, different things like that. Even the resources in the environment had magic and was able to transfer that magic or cycle through that magic, but again, it was halted and slowed down. Rocks have magic, plants have magic, animals have it. There is even magical particles in the very Earth's atmosphere. And so people are in a constant and perpetual cycle of expending their magic to complete certain effects and then reabsorbing it through the air they breathe or through the food that they consume or through pure resting and sleeping or going into some sort of meditative state. And so there is no magic organ that people have. Rather, it's a lot like having fat cells or having muscle proteins and different things like that. It exists all around your body, and the action of you casting magic is burning that energy, that mineral that is constantly being stored and cycled within your body. And so, how people choose to transfer that magic and energy is up to them. Whether they want to write out their spells, like that's what magic circles are, is writing out their spells. Like oxygen plus carbon plus ignition plus light that casts fire. Or hydrogen plus oxygen shaping it into a object or thing that's ice manipulation. Different things for different people. Animist, I don't think I'm familiar with that. What is animist? I mean, it definitely sounds interesting. I've never heard of that. Yeah, I guess that could be said, or I guess that could be concluded that living things or inanimate objects have a sort of life or energy to them. It's definitely possible. Because at least in my show, things have energies, things have wavelengths, and things have sort of signatures that have both physical and symbolic meanings, which is why there may be certain instances where a certain type of rock or a certain type of metal is used for a sword or a weapon or a magic item, and certain herbs are used in the crafting of certain spells, at least for some people. Like, you can do certain things, you can cast any spell without a sort of magic ingredient, but it's going to be very taxing. And there is various different ways to use magic. You can purely use your own internal magic. You can use your internal magic to manipulate and sort of weave the magic externally from your body, or you can purely use external forms of magic. But again, everyone has magic, and there are also like basic fundamental spells that each person has access to and can use. Ooh, somebody else joined. I now have two concurrent viewers. Hello, newcomer. How are you? Ooh. Adobe Animate had a new update, so I am trying to figure out how to use this. It's a bit difficult, if I'm being completely honest. One of the things I like about Ayo, this character I'm drawing, is he's actually inspired by like Eldritch Horror and like biblically accurate angels. You see, Adobe Animate is not that heavy and it's not that extensive. Definite because it is a raster program, so it uses geographical, what they call, like geographical angles in order to create their images. So it's definitely something more or less taxing on your CPU and on your computer than, say, a Photoshop program. Photoshop is bitmap, so it uses bunches and groups of pixels in order to animate things. Yeah. Leading to long process times, and overall, it's just difficult to animate anything with. Like when I was in college, the professor only wanted us to animate with Photoshop. The one issue is that it took a very very long time to get any sort of animation done with Photoshop because Photoshop is a artistic tool. It's mainly used for photo retouching or art or digital art. And while it does have animated capabilities, it's not a program that is effective for, say, feature animation. It's more something effective for motion graphics or like those semi animated stills that you see on gotcha games or hero collection games. I am going to be working on some concept art. If you look at my community tab, I finished one of my character designs. That is Saren, and so I'm going to be working on a character series where I go over these seven main characters and go over their concepts and their independent backstories, which is actually funny because Ayo is the main character, he's the leader, and he's the one I first designed. But I started with Saren because he is definitely more the first character that everyone sees because the pilot is based around him and his backstory right off the bat. But I can definitely do Ayo next. No, I really mean Photoshop. Honestly, I would pull it out. I would pull out Photoshop, but that's gonna be super taxing on my computer right now. I mean, I have a gaming computer, so I could probably do it, but you don't want to see Photoshop animation. Oh, Ayo's name isn't capital A capital O. It's Ayo. It's actually a shortened nickname compared to his full name, which is A Young, Ayoung, and he is based off of an African fairy tale of the boy and the magic stone. The main character's name was A Young, and he had a magic stone that allowed him to, I believe it was, he was able to put the stone in a soup, I believe, or water, and it gave him a lot of fortune. So if you, this is like a process piece of, this is like a work in progress animation, but essentially Ao he has one red eye and one regular brown eye, and so the idea is that the magic stone from the folk tale is actually Ao's left eye. That is a fun little nod to the African folk tale. Um, so his red eye is the magic stone, and then he is seeking revenge for someone who has wronged him. Ao's backstory is essentially that he was the one who discovered magic, or rather, he was the one who did tests on the air quality because born he was born in the year 2000, and so he is a part of that first generation of kids who either were sent to the bunkers or were born in the bunkers. Like there's this whole special thing where children born between 1999 and 2001, they're called like millennium children, and they have special powerful magics, or they have a special kinship to magic that is unlike people born before or after that time, but we'll go into that in a later stream. Essentially, Ao is a millennium child who became a scientist. He became a chemist. He has his degree in chemistry, environmental science, and slight meteorology. And so he discovered that there was a special particle in the air that is what was affecting people, because during the cascade, when people first went into the bunkers, there was this thing known as the week long sickness, where people were inexplicably sick for no reason. And people had sores all over their bodies. They had like purple markings. There was various different things going on. Like, rarely did people die from this illness, but it definitely had some sort of taxing on the human body. And after which people survived this illness, people began to notice that the old were getting younger and more revitalized, that people were living longer lifespans. So when Ao was coming up, he did some tests when he found out that this particle was causing people to become revitalized. And it was only until he began running tests did he learn and realize that people, human bodies now have the capacity for magic, or rather, imposing their will and desire onto the world in a tangible manner. That is what magic is in this world. Imposing or facilitating one's will on the world while not doing it in a common manner. There are a lot of different things in Ao's design. I believe I might have a picture of him somewhere if I can find it. Dang. Let me pull up my art and see where he is. Because I know I drew him at least once somewhere. Hmm. Because I know I have pictures of him in my sketchbook. Okay, this will do. This is a picture of Ao. This is a rough picture of Ao that I drew of him a while ago. He has the red eye. He has markings along his body. He has long hair. I definitely know I've animated him. And he's also the main character in the teaser trailer I did. But essentially, he was pushed into sort of this experimental portal that put him in sort of a space between spaces where his body was constantly being torn apart and stitched together. That's why he has black markings, well, purple markings along his limbs, and why he actually covers. Ooh, I almost choked on air. I almost choked on air. I'm talking too loud. Um, his body was constantly being torn apart and put back together, and he. Uh, Dang, I choked so bad. I restored to factory settings. I forgot what I was gonna say. Uh, red eye, dark skin, purple markings along the body. One of his colleagues was the one who pushed him, and so now he is seeking revenge on that colleague for essentially dooming him, damning him, and destroying his body. Because the world that he went into, time was displaced. And so that's how he discovered that humans now have extended lifespans because of magic, because he spent 100 years in that sort of in between space, but in actuality, it was only like 10 or 25 years in actual time. But now he is seeking revenge, and he has gathered 6 other men and women who have been wronged. But I definitely plan on doing a similar character sheet that I did for Saren. But I put a lot of care into A Young's design. He has well, for starters, he reveals his shoulders and he reveals his arms, but in that same vein, he wears sort of like these detached sleeves that actually cover his markings. So it more so looks like he has sort of like an aesthetic. It looks more so like he has sort of like this aesthetic, like hand paint or glove going on, when in actuality, no, that's actually his arm. And those are actually his real nails. Because he actually does have like some very long, sort of like monster nails. He wears like long baggy pants and boots, but then his actual shirt is more so in the style of a dashiki, a sort of longer dashiki where he has like one long piece of fabric in the front and then another long piece of fabric in the back to sort of accentuate his features. And a point in this show is that a lot of the men are just attractive. I mean, a lot of the big seven are all attractive figures, but like the men in this show are definitely very attractive. Like Ao is the leader, so he has this sort of pride and confidence about him, and so that trickles down to his appearance. Whereas Saren, he's definitely the more mm, Saren is more of the face or like the center of the group where he uses his masculine wiles and his appearance to sort of like get attention or like manipulate or like get things done. He's not really a manipulator. More so like he's just what's the proper word? What's the politically correct word? He's a bit of a whore. Like let's just call it what it is. Saren is a whore. Um, Ao is sort of like that confident, attractive leader. All of the main characters are actually very attractive. Like there's really nothing else that can be said. And as the story goes on, you're definitely gonna see like how their backstories affected them and made them who they were. Yeah, Saren is a stud. Okay, hold on. Let me actually pull up the picture now, real quick. Like you are going to see, like, look at this man. Okay, look at this man. I designed him to be a whore. Okay, he is a full-on whore, and I'm not gonna go into further detail. Okay, you got one good glimpse of it. It's gone now, cause I don't want to focus too much on that, cause I'm not trying to get flagged. Anyway, where was I going with that? Um, but it goes into the idea and concept that these were once virtuous people. These were once great, amazing, beautiful, kind people. But as they sort of fell, as they each had their own traumas and each had their own downfalls, it has warped them into these embodiments of despair and revenge. Like you didn't see it, but Ao actually has a red ribbon in his hair. Like he has long dreadlocks and then he ties his hair back into a ribbon. And so usually it shows he when he is angry, like that red ribbon will snap and he will take on a more eldritch sort of look where his dreadlocks become like these white tentacles and his body turns into like this all purple sort of mass with long black nails that will claw somebody. his clothing becomes sort of like this chain around him, sort of repressing him and holding him back. Like, and the reason why, even though all of these characters are powerful in their own ways, or is an expert in their field and type of magic, what is drawing them back or what is holding them back and what is keeping them together is different for each character. Like if Ayo wanted to, Ayo could go straight up to the people who wronged him and level the entire building. The one reason why he can't is because of his trauma and because of his anger. Because every time he gets close to the people who wronged him, he grows out of control. He is just that hateful. He is just that angry that he cannot maintain control, which is why he gathered the group in the first place. It's all these people either don't have the resources, don't have the magical capacity, or don't have, they are missing something that is keeping them from just wiping the slate clean. I mean, I wouldn't mind a gender bent Ayo. Like the beauty of Ayo is that the beauty of Ayo's character is that he is beautiful. Like Ayo, like Saren is a stud, but Ayo is that genuine masculine beauty where it pulls women and other men towards him, and it's not necessarily a sexual thing, but there are, slight undertones of sexual attraction to Ayo. But in that same vein, Ayo is not an androgynous character. He just exudes a sort of spirit and aura about him that draws people close to him. That's why and how he was able to get this organization and faction together to begin with. So I mean, if after I finish my Ayo character sheet and you want to make a gender bent Ayo, I say go ahead and do it. It'd actually be kind of easy to do it, if I'm being completely honest. What other questions can I answer about AO? Um, well, really, any question I answer about AO would be a question I answer about the faction. Like, AO is the leader, and his sort of sin and virtue is pride and humility. Starting out, he was very humble, and he just seeked to do for the sake of doing. Like, he seeked to discover because he was genuinely interested and curious. And it was only until after he fell that he sort of took on a bit more of a prideful and angry nature. Hmm. That sounds very interesting. I would definitely say that because of the nature of the show, which is definitely the nature of the show is this idea of righteous fury. Like, each of these characters have a reason and are justified in their anger. It sort of goes back to the Bible, and the six things God hates, the seventh he finds deplorable. So it's definitely not a case of these characters forgetting what was done to them because it has been etched into their minds. Now, whether some of them choose to follow through with that and will destroy the person that wronged them fully, or go the step further and destroy not just the person, but everything the person that has done, their livelihood, their friends and family, is yet to be seen. Oh, that's actually a plan for me. Like, I have this idea of drawing a throne. Ao's gonna sit in the throne, and then the different characters are going to be having various positions around that. It's gonna be like a throne and some steps, and then the different characters are gonna have different poses. So yeah, I definitely have plans. Like, buddy, you don't have to worry. Like, I have thought of it all. Of course, more content. I gotta make more content. I mean, I hate to say it, but it does feel like, I don't know, like I've been slowing down. Not necessarily that I've lost my artistic edge, but when I first started my new job, I was trying to edge out animation and animating anywhere and everywhere I could. Like, I would animate an hour or two before I go to work. I would like get up early, get dressed, try to animate or try to work on a project, and then just go to work then, be excited, and then I'll like animate before I go to bed. And so now I'm in a place and now I'm finding myself where I'll just keep the tab open and not really draw anything or not really do anything. And then I'll be like super upset because I didn't get any work done. And I don't think I'm going through an artist's death, but I definitely feel as though it almost feels like I'm caught in a cycle where I get up, go to work, go home. I only stream on Tuesdays and Fridays. Like I only do my art when it is a streaming day. Um, and I definitely want to do more. And then I apply for jobs and I apply to different places to work and I don't hear back from them or I don't get accepted. So I'm caught in a place and I'm caught in a state where I don't like my job, but I don't want to quit my job until I find something better for myself. Because my core, my dream is having my own animation studio, working on my own original shows and original content. But I know that there is a stepping stone. Exactly. Finding those small wins. Like I definitely feel if I could find small wins, I would be much happier and much more effective in my process. And that's the crazy and wild thing is because I love animating so much. Like I love animating, I love drawing so much. But then in that same vein, it feels like sometimes it feels like I'm not making any progress with my animation. Sometimes it feels like I'm just doing the same thing over and over again and I'm not having any results that are helping me grow. Which is funny and which is funny and which is a lie because I can definitely tell that there is a difference between how I animate and draw now compared to how I drew and animated when I was first starting. Illustrations or fan art. And you see that's what I'm doing right now is I'm doing short animation exercises because the core of who I am and who I want to be is a animator. Like that's what I like, that's what I enjoy. So I mean, I guess I could try GIFs or I guess I could try I don't know more shorter animations that are just a few seconds long. But then in that same vein, I want to grow and I want to develop. Like I want to try my hands at lip syncing animation. I want to get better at coloring and shading. I want to get better at my compositing. I want to get better at so many different things. And so to go in, apply for internships, apply for junior level positions, having the skills, just needing to hone them, but then still not getting those jobs because, oh, you just don't fit, or, oh, your skills don't match up, that is very disheartening. Which is why I have the conspiracy theory that like media and entertainment is sort of like maybe like a money laundering scheme or like people just it is just a place and space for people to only hire their friends or to not even post and disclose the existence of certain jobs and positions because how can you have different studios how can you have so many shows coming out that require different positions and require different people to do different things, but then you don't want to hire anybody. You're constantly rejecting people. Like in betweening, that is a job for two or three people Coloring, that could easily be the job of 3 or 4 people. Compositing, maybe one person could do it, but more than likely, like, you're gonna have 2 people. Like, there is space for more people, but they're just choosing to downsize, and they're choosing to make it more difficult than it needs to be. And then the actual entry level pipeline jobs, like in betweening, like coloring, like those low level storyboard artists or cleanup, they're either outsourcing them or they're bundling all those jobs together into just one senior level position. And how can an industry only hire seniors? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Every time I go to LinkedIn or Indeed or animatedjobs.com or ArtStation, all you see is senior positions. Everything you see is a senior or an executive. When common sense would dictate that there would be a entry level version, or there would be a more preliminary version of those jobs that just have smaller or lesser responsibilities. And so, how are you expecting people to have 4, 5, 10 years of experience with a senior position if you're not even hiring those people to get those entry level positions, and you're not disclosing those entry level positions? So the crux of me, the crux of what I'm doing is that I would like this is okay, so this is like way in the future. Like, maybe if I have the money by the age 25, then I'll do it when I'm 25. But like, this is my long term plan. My long term plan is to decentralize Hollywood. Like, I'm just gonna go right off the bat, decentralize Hollywood, get rid of that myth and legend that you need to get rid of that myth and legend that you need to be some that you need to move to Hollywood in order to make work, or you need to move to one city or one state in the entire world or in your entire continent in order to get work and make a living. I'm going to say no. Like, part of my language, screw all of that. We have technology, we have platforms like Discord, we have electronics and email and other stuff like that. You don't need to move across the country. You don't need to move to California or New York. Like, start up a studio at your home. And the only thing that is stopping me from starting my own studio now is that I need the capital, I need the connections, and I need that industry level experience. Like, I have the passion. Like, people have told me, like, you have the passion, you have the know how, you have a vision. Your one weakness, your one downfall is that you don't have the experience. Like, I don't have the experience in order to do something like that yet. And that's the horrible part, because on YouTube right now, I have seen videos about artists and animators going freelance and them working on their own projects, or them just blatantly flat out quitting animation. I see Vibsy Pop and I see other creators who have founded their own animation studios, and I'm like, they can they can found their own studios because they have the clout for it and they have the connections for it. I can't yet because I don't have the clout. I don't have the pull. I don't have the social pull. And that's not to say I'm ungrateful. Like I would never, ever be ungrateful. Like the fact that I have 346 subscribers, that is amazing. Like that is awesome. And I thank God and I thank everyone who stopped by my channel, loves and enjoys what I'm doing, and has subscribed to me. Like you guys are awesome. You guys keep me going. But I do know that the sad truth is that if I want to make my own studio, I'm at least gonna need like maybe 10,000 subscribers. At least 10,000 subscribers, and I can use my social sway as well as whatever money I make from my YouTube channel, as well as say mm, money from my savings account. And if I find like a nice investor, then I can start my studio and work on my own original shows. But until then, I'm just gonna have to do exercises. I'm just gonna have to network and talk to people. Find some sort of project that I can base content on, which is another reason why I love my Seven Sages slash Witches 13 concept, because I can use that as a method and way of getting more people to watch. This is a project that I love, that I am serious about, that I enjoy doing. So if I can use that at least slightly to get more subscribers, then hey, that's just the industry, baby. It sucks that everything is chaotic. And when you think you have a plan, or you think you have something that can be done or something that you can do, that things go sun up. Like that's the horrible thing. You think you have a plan, you put it into motion, or you feel drawn to do something or act in a way that would best help and accommodate your future goals. And then once you do it, things just fall through. Exactly. And what's odd and what's wild is that's the story of many people's lives. Like, let's just call it what it is. Everyone's wanted to do something, or felt the desire or pull to go somewhere, and then it doesn't work out, or they keep failing at it. I'm just waiting for a better job. Like, if I can have a better or more calmer job or work environment that can calm me down, so then I can focus more on my animation, focus more on my art, and focus more on networking. So then I can do more with my channel, do more with my art, actually have more content to cultivate a bigger following, then everything else would just fall in line. Look, you are not a nobody. Anything you can think of that would help me, I would graciously accept. Like, that's why I have this chat. That's why I have this channel. And that's why I always tell people, you can leave comments, you can tell me recommendations, anything and everything, because I actively look for and enjoy that stuff. So, yes, anything you think that can help me, please, by all means, tell me. I definitely see that. I definitely do need to work on my confidence. And and that's even evident in how I talk and how I act, even in my day to day life. Like, I have a lot of passion, but in many cases and places, I don't have any. I wouldn't say I don't have any confidence. More so, like, I have very little or shifting confidence. Because, because and it's actually funny that you mentioned that, because now I'm reflecting on my life, and in many ways, both in artistic philosophy and through actual scientific evidence, is that art, how someone draws, how someone expresses their art and their creative process, is definitely evident of day to day life. Like, how you are feeling in the present, whatever pros and cons, whatever feelings you have, present themselves in your art. Like, you can have body dysmorphia, or you can hate how much you weigh. And then that lack of confidence will affect your art, reflect the quality of your art. You can hate your job in my case, or you can dislike how your life is going, and that sadness can affect how you draw. And I definitely think that if I can become more confident and more positive, then that would definitely help and affect my art. And that's another thing is I've always had issues and difficulty with foreshortening. Foreshortening is the bane of my existence, but in that same vein, no pun intended, foreshortening has always been the bane of my existence, but in that same vein, foreshortening is actually a really big tool for animators because we are 2D drawers that have to sometimes animate and project stories in a 3D sense. We have to show and make a way for animations to look more fluid. So I guess that's the ticket. Get my life better and then get my art better. I think I can do that. I think that sounds simple enough. I think it is time for me to buy a new sketchbook. I definitely want to do a sketchbook crawl. Like, just pull out my sketchbook one of these days. Oh, yes, I do have a Discord. I have plans on making a channel Discord for myself. I mean, I have one, but it's not. I wouldn't even say I have one. It's more so like just a shoddy sort of like conglomerate or like a I don't even know what it is. It's just like a Discord. And that's another thing is I definitely need to work on my Discord. I need to work on the channel Discord at least. Who knows? There might be like a 500 subscribers special where I formally post my channel Discord for everyone to see and join. or not even like a 500 subscriber special. I'll probably just work on it and then post about it. Like say, hey, I have a Discord now. It's in the description. Get one of those permanent Discord links and put it in my description so then people can join my Discord if they really want to. So I don't have many art friends I talk to. It's kind of just me. I do have some people from college. I mean, I guess I can try to get back into contact with them. It wouldn't hurt. It definitely wouldn't hurt. Yeah, I definitely think I'll feel better once I get into contact with some people from my past, as well as just try to find others like me. And that's the strange thing, too, is that I'm a part of different art communities and art discords, but rarely do I talk to them or interact with them. Like, I think I scroll the web too much. Like, I think I go online, go on YouTube, go on Twitter too much because I spend more time watching YouTube content and trying to find like the perfect content that speaks to me more than I actually focus on my YouTube channel proper. So who knows? Like maybe if I cut it out or at least reduce my time on YouTube, then I might have more luck. Like I'm just sitting on video on audio that I need to edit. And I know that I need to edit it now or else when the time actually comes, I may never complete my video or I'll complete it later than I initially expected or planned. I mean, in life we all have our issues and problems, and that's just something that I've expected and accepted is that we each have hopes and dreams. Some of us have more confidence than passion. Others of us have more passion than the skill or ability to apply it. Like we're each given something that we love, enjoy, and are good at, and then one sort of crux or issue that is keeping us from going into our desires fully. Yeah, I think that's a start. Definitely a start. You keep me on my toes, that's for one thing. Oh, that's fine because there are moments and times where I don't talk or like I'm just deep into thought about something, so you're fine. Like I'm never really that kind of streamer that tries to fill the silence or is constantly talking. I just, when something comes to my mind, I say it. When something doesn't, like I'm quiet for a while. And I do, in fact, like those times where I can just sit back and read my chat, or I can sit back and draw. Oh, okay. Thank you. That's really nice. I'm not really on Twitter like that. I mainly get on Twitter whenever I'm going downtown and I find like a nice restaurant or I see some sort of art I like. I think that's my issue is that I've never just sat down and done a study, like an artistic study on foreshortening and perspective. Because I'm very much a person who, how do I put it? I'm very much a person who learned the fundamentals, then I started drawing from the mind. But I definitely need to go back to, excuse me, but I definitely need to go back to drawing from life in order to get that experience and get that skill and aptitude back. Drawbox? Well, I have my computer up now, so let me look and see what it looks like. Drawbox. Anyone can learn to draw. It's not some magical talent. A few people are born with. It's a skill you can train. We can help. Drawbox is a set of free exercise based lessons that focus on the fundamentals, the skills you'll need to make sense of all other resources and tutorials out there. First, we focus on the basic mechanics of mark making and how to use your arm. By the end, we develop a strong understanding of form, 3D space, and construction. Huh. I'm looking at it right now. Do these people have a Discord? Like, I'm just curious right now. Like, do these people have like a Discord channel or somewhere where I can like join the community? Cause this is just like a quick skimming. Like I just clicked on the get started thing. Um, this is actually really good. You know what? Thank you for this. Thank you, Seth. This is awesome and amazing. And I don't want to. How do I put this? I'll definitely read this on my free time. Like, I'll have it on my phone, saved on my phone. I'll go and read it when I can, do some research, do the exercises, everything. But thank you for this. I don't want to take up my streaming time, but just so you know, you're awesome. Using my own words against me. I said something a lot like that a while ago. I think I even made a video on it, my art envy video, about how we're all starting at our own pace. Even if we forget sometimes, but it's alright. Yeah, like next to my art tutorial videos, like next to my in-betweening video and my one, twos, and threes video, like animating on one, twos, and threes, I definitely feel like my art envy video has had the most impact because that was just me going in. Like, I bore my soul in that video. Like, I just talked about, like, all my insecurities and how angry I was and how, like, you see other people and it's like you're happy for them, but you're also angry. Like, why can't I have that? And since I made that video, what's actually wild is, like, I have, like, my art envy is gone. Like, for real, my art envy is gone after I made that video. Exactly, vulnerable. So, and now that you told me about Drawbox and I see it, now I'm wondering, should I put this animation on the back burner? Because I already have two other animations that I already know, not two. If I put this animation on the back burner, then it would just be two animations now that I have on the back burner. And I would start a new project, a new smaller project to work on and to help me grow, hone my skills, and develop. So, do I really want to do that? Because this right here is I haven't even done like my resizing or remapping. Like, this is a 10-second video. The other one I'm working on, excuse me, the other one I'm working on is voiced, and that's going to be at least 25 seconds. So, do I want to pause this video? I mean, pause this animation and work on another shorter, smaller animation? Do I want to just downsize it and work on this segment right here? Like, I definitely think that this first, like, 7 seconds is my strongest. So I wonder if I can just, like, even this smoke animation, this was all done, like, practically freehand. Like, I just drew that and did that off the top of my head. So I'm wondering if I can downsize this animation and cut out the last 3 seconds, the last 2, 3 seconds of this animation, and just finish what I have up to the 8 second mark. Exactly, like this smoke, like I did all of this freehand. If I'm being like this, all this was done freehand, okay, buddy? Like all of this. Yeah, I think I'm just going to cut it right here. The rest I'll save for something else. But because I want to work on my action scenes and my more cinematic animations, like this is straight cinematic. Like you have a shift from like a semi 2D plane to like a top down view and perspective. You then have this more cinematic frame right here where the enemy is in like the lower third, and then it does like an extreme zoom in on the character figure, and then it's just like this arc of energy that blows up. Like this is like this 7 second segment. Like I am I am loving it. Yeah, that was actually very early on. That was supposed to be a teaser trailer for my show when it was still under the name of Witches 13. And it was at I was at a time and moment in my life where I was still making a bunch of animations and I kept quitting them. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this animation. It's going to be a teaser trailer, and whether it works out or not, whether it's like shitty for its time or not, I'm still going to post it. So that took me about 5 months to finish. Oh, my mom is calling me. Let me mute myself while I talk to my mom. Hello? Hey, mom. Yes, ma'am. I am back. I am going to be buying a PS5. Well, first I need to see if it's in stock. And then if it's in stock or not, then I'll purchase one. Yeah, it depends. Like I might get a PS5, then again I might not because of where I work. I get like a special discount, and because I work during Black Friday, I get like an extra 15% discount. And okay, how do I put this? I am a stingy man and I like saving money because I don't like spending a lot of money. Um, I don't like spending money, and I just started saving up more because I had spent like $1,000 on this computer. So I've been trying to build back up to more money in my savings. The PlayStation is really, really good. It's a nice game. It's a really good game. Like, it's a nice console. It's a really good console. It has ray tracing. Actually, I think PCs have ray tracing too, so that's nothing special. But I like. I am the person that likes just having a controller in my hand. Like, I can't really do point and click or use a keyboard, and then I have a wireless keyboard, so that's not even gonna work out well. It's just I don't like playing with keyboards, but I have fallen in love with like a little game called Crusader Kings 3. Like, I just love Crusader Kings. I love ruling a nation, and I love marrying off marrying off my children and committing war crimes. And honestly, like, I play that game on Discord and I'll stream it to like my Discord friends. I should in fact have a dedicated like live stream on my channel for Crusader Kings 3. Cause like I will cut up. Like, I'll see an albino. I'm like, he's got that demon blood. Or like, oh daughter, I need you to take one for the team, and like I'm gonna arrange your marriage with the son of this other nation. Or like, you know what, son? You're gonna be like my war chief, my war general. That's not really the case being into RTS games because I actually like more RPG games. Like my favorite game is Cyberpunk 2077. Like I just love the aesthetic. I love how gritty it is. I love everything about it. I also love Genshin Impact too. Like Genshin Impact, Cyberpunk 2077. Um I want to try Elden Ring. I'm a bit too scared, but I want to try it in the least. What time is it? Oh, I've already hit the 2 hour mark. Um, hmm. Well then, I guess I better leave you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. It was very nice talking to you, Seth. And hopefully in my next stream more people will stop by, talk, chat. For those of you who don't know, I stream Tuesdays and Fridays, usually around noontime. So that's always good. I like to get that lunch hour for those who are on the East Coast. And I think it's nighttime over where you are, Seth. You talked about the Philippines, right? So for those of us who live in America on the East Coast, it's midday, noon. Those of you who are more abroad, it may be like at night where you guys are just getting off work. Oh, it's 1 a.m. You need to go to sleep. Maybe I should do like a special abroad live stream where it's just me talking to you all and calming you to bed. But in all seriousness, thank you all for watching and subscribing. And thank you definitely for the likes as well. Um, Regular outro time. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share even. When I reach 500 subscribers, I plan on doing an extra long live stream as well as releasing my Discord channel. And then when I reach 1,000, I plan on doing a special Q&A live stream, answering any questions you guys have. Anyway, this has been Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. I'll see you guys in my next video or live stream. Bye.